So good morning, everybody. This is Bishop with you on today. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful, and I tell you, I'm trying to reorganize. I'm getting all my winter stuff out so I can take it and put it in storage today. Um, let me encourage you, and let me tell you, you are strong, and you deserve to be treated right. I don't care what anybody tells you. All right, don't settle for being mistreated by anybody. Hey, Candida, how you doing, sis? Listen, one of the most important things that I've learned in my life is to love God, to love Jesus, to love the Holy Ghost, and then love me. People will always try to distract you from being you or from doing you. It doesn't matter what their opinions are. It's your facts that make the difference. Don't waste another moment of your life worrying about people that could care less about you. You have to face, hey, Kim, you have to face the facts. And I'm so tired of people coming and talking to me and trying to tell me how to be a bishop and how I should feel and this. Let me tell you something. The enemy does not care about a title. My mama didn't tell me how I should feel about something, and I'm not caring about how anybody else feels that I'm supposed to feel or how I should carry myself. Let me, first of all, understand. Until you've walked where I've walked, you'll never understand where I'm coming from or who I am. All right? I never try to change a person's mind because they have the right to feel the way that they feel. A lot of times people don't want to face their own issues, so they try to tell you what not to do or tell you how you should feel or how you should act about it. Let me help you here. It wasn't done to you. So don't expect my reaction to be your response until you've experienced it. I know what it feels like to lose a child. I experienced it. I also know what it feels like to come up in a family to where complexion makes a difference in interaction. If you haven't been there, keep your mouth shut. You can't tell anybody how they should act or how they shouldn't act simply because of a title. I don't give a darn about a title. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're wrong for standing up for yourself or speaking up for yourself. There's too many of us, and I said us because I'm included. There's too many of us that has taken too much from folk thinking that that's the holy way to do it. Brothers and sisters, I'm not Jesus. I'm following him, but I'm not Jesus, but I fall short. And just because you're afraid to handle certain situations doesn't mean that I am. Hey, Sister Kelly, you've got to get to a point in your life, some point in your life, somewhere in your life that you get a backbone. Stop thinking that salvation means legalization of disloyalty. What fool told you that? I'm tired of folks pretending that they're so happy and that they're so holy, and then you get mad when somebody treats you like hell. Bishop gonna say what he want to say. I'm grown. You need to say what you got to say. You grown. Yes, there is a way to say things. There is a way to do things. But can I tell you, when you dealing with the devil ain't trying to play with you. And you can't approach the devil with love because God didn't. He didn't love him when he put him out of heaven. So why are you wasting your time fooling yourself? You make a fool out of yourself when you are faithful to a fool that's fooling you. No, your problem is you don't want people to know the real you. And so you live under the conditions that they offer. I don't do conditions. And I don't do compromises. Not when it comes to my soul, not when it comes to my peace. Now, I do believe in compromising. I do believe in meeting you halfway. But you're not going to go all the way and mistreat me and think I'm still going to be the same person that you met, because I can be your regret like I can your happiness. You have to realize, when are you going to realize you deserve to be happy? When are you going to realize that you have a life? When are you going to stop trying to trick yourself into believing that you're happy, that you're peaceful, and that you're free, simply because you refuse to speak your mind? Hey, Sister Terry, how you doing, darling? Because you refuse to speak your mind. Let me tell you, you have to be able to accept the fact that you are the exception. Not everything that's said should be acceptable to you. And if it is, and that's the problem is with you, it's not with them. See, not everybody has a backbone. Not everybody has a spine. And so the problem with that is, as long as you don't say anything, your silence condones everything. Well, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm going to let them say what. No. You ain't going to say what you want to say to me. You're not going to approach me any old type of way. Why? Because I'm not one of your hoes. I'm not one of those people who just take. You have to get to a point to where you say enough is enough. I encourage you to stand up for yourself. Stop letting people run over you. What makes that right? Somebody tell me what is holy about letting people treat you like hell. If God don't do it, why are you letting another fool do it? Are you that desperate for attention that you're willing to have the heartache, the headache, and the control? Aren't you tired of being beat down, battered, and abused? And sometimes, y'all, can I tell you, there's some of y'all that's been abandoned, and y'all think that it's holy. Y'all think that it's right, because that's the way I am. I just want to be saved and sanctified. I can be saved and sanctified without being stupid. I'm very much a man, and proud of who I am. Because here's the thing, when people try to judge you based on what you say, the first thing that people came at me was, well, you're a bishop. I thought that you should. Stop. First of all, you don't know anything about my title. You know even less about my person. What people don't understand about you is the very things that they're criticizing you for is the very things that you overcome and helped you to become the person you are right now. They couldn't have handled half of the stuff that you went through, because either they would be in the graveyard or in prison right now. People who don't like truth, I'm going to say it again. People who don't like truth will always try to swallow it with the comfort of a lie. Hey, cuz, how you doing this morning? Why don't you like truth? And one of the biggest issues that I have with people, especially trying to assault somebody, you want to assault somebody on Facebook. You want to tell somebody how they should handle a situation that you've never been in. First of all, that's called meddling. You meddling. If somebody says how they feel, accept it. I can handle people. Let me tell you what I love about the center. Okay. I love the fact that they can be honest about who they are, regardless of how it makes anybody else feel. Because a lot of the so-called Christians in the church are fake and phony. And so how can they help you be real when they give you a phony appearance? There's so many people smiling like they have great lives and going through hell in private. And then they get mad at you because you're the one who stands out and who stands up and who's not afraid to speak truth to power. As long as you stay silent, people are going to treat you stupid. The problem is when you call them out, accountability makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable. Because we've been raised again that what happens in the house stays in the house. But can I tell you what happened in the house and stayed in the house actually hurt you as you got older? And so since I've gotten older, I've gotten bolder. Now, I would rather fight with the devil than fight with you. But if I have to fight with you, I'm going to make sure that you lose. I'm going to make sure if you don't like me, it's because I don't want you to. And I'm being honest. See, a lot of people don't understand your honesty. They see your honesty as threatening. They see your honesty as disrespect. I don't. I don't. I would rather you tell me the truth than tell me a lie. The thing about it is, I don't have to answer to you and you don't have to answer to them. So I don't understand why you continue to give explanations to people that can only exalt themselves where there is no exaltation. You're putting yourself on a pedestal, but do you deserve to be there? You've got to learn how to love yourself. You got to learn how to like yourself. A lot of y'all don't like yourself because other people don't like you. I don't give a doggone who likes me or not. I don't care who thinks that I'm right or who thinks I'm wrong. Your thought process to me makes no difference because I see how you are. So you're tolerant of stuff. I'm not. So don't expect me to be like you. That's not who I am. See, I believe in calling out sin. I believe in and why? Because God called it out on me. If you're a sinner, you're a sinner. Just accept the fact that you're a sinner. Even if you saved, you still doing some stuff. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody. And I tell you, you're not as ready to die as you think you are. And yet you're trying to put people in the graveyard before they're ready to go there simply because you're upset with them because they said what they said. Baby, say what you said. Stand on what you say. You can't be honest with God when you can't even be honest with yourself. There's a whole lot of feelings that you all are hiding simply because you're afraid of how it's going to make everybody see you. I want you to see me how I am. I want you to see me for who I am. I'm not that bishop that's just because I have a title that means I can't say anything or I can't do anything or you're going to treat me or come at me any kind of way. That's not what we do. Good morning, Sister Jones. God bless you. Since when did the Bible ever teach you to be a doormat for the devil? See, some of y'all get on my nerves acting like you so holy and you so ready for heaven that earth hasn't got you in bondage. A lot of you all are still suffering behind closed doors. You suffering behind closed doors because you're afraid to end what you didn't begin. Here's the thing. I know people are devils when I first start talking to them. I can tell by their conversation they're crooked. Simply because when you start out a friendship or a relationship with conditions, that means somewhere in your life you've been hurt by the very condition that you're offering somebody else. And what you do, you get so offended because you don't have the courage to stand up and say what needs to be said because you're afraid of losing the connection with what once controlled you. Can I tell you, from the church to the house to the relationship to the family and to the friends, when what I say offends them and I know it hurt me and you're telling me I should put up with it simply because you put up with it, our friendship's done. The relationship's over. If you can stand by me and tell me I should be going through this, when you should be encouraging me, saying, you know what, you need to cut that loose, then you're the enemy too. Can I tell you the number one reason why people hate me is because of this right here? I've never done anything to them personally at all. It's what I say that pisses people off. Well, I just don't like your wording. I don't like the way you say things. If you had known me when I was younger, when I used to cuss a lot. See, you hate people who keep it real with you. You used to phony people. When you come across a brother or a sister that is actually real, you don't know how to handle that. Because again, you're not used to talking that way. You're used to trying to be so sedity and so prissy that when you meet somebody that actually comes from the single parent homes, that comes from, money doesn't make me. People don't make me. And what you have to understand, when are you going to stop letting people make you be like them? If you cannot handle coming downtown, then stay uptown. Don't come to a place that you're not prepared to deal with. Because here's the thing, not everybody's going to see things your way. Science doesn't help everything. Well, I took a psychology class, and, I've been taught we shouldn't say things and we shouldn't say. A lot of the people that are psychologists, psychiatrists, are alcoholics. They can't handle it either. But they have a degree that says they studied, they took a test, they know how people think. But how can you know how somebody thinks when their thought process continually changes? Today, I may be good. Tomorrow, I may not. Tomorrow, the next day, I might be totally crazy. Nobody can tell you what the thoughts are of your mind, or how you need to get those thoughts out of your head. Sometimes, let me ask you, when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he knew that he was about to die, would you have given him the same advice? Well, you need to think differently. You don't need to pray. You don't need to get upset. Because he questioned the disciples that were with him. He said, y'all can't watch with me 1 hour. Y'all can't even stay 1 hour. Nobody in the garden told Jesus, you shouldn't feel that way. You shouldn't think that way. When you are surrounded by people that are insecure, if you stay around them long enough, you begin to fall into the insecurity as well. Who you are around affects your behavior. 90% of the time, I'm by myself because I choose to be. I don't let anybody define me. I don't let anybody tell me what I'm going to do or what I'm not going to do. Because here's the thing. Now, if you don't want to be loved, that's on you. That's fine. I'm not forcing anything. I put me in the equation simply because I'm not a pastor that has anything to hide, and I'm not afraid of how people feel about me. Because I want people to understand that preachers have feelings too. They're human just like you. Male or female, they have feelings. People have feelings. I don't care who you are. Everybody has feelings, and your feelings can be affected by what people think or say. And if you're not willing to stand, I got a message, and somebody says, well, I stopped following you. I stopped listening to you, and blah, 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 blah. I don't care. When you stop following me and you stop listening, that's all right with me. I don't know you, and you don't know me. But if you look at what I say, everything I say is consistent. Everything that I'm teaching, it's biblical. I've told you, it's Bible. I don't try to change the word of God. It is what it is. And so for a preacher that can admit to the fact, I'm saved, but yet I stumble. How can I teach people how to love folk if I don't love them? If I'm doing just the opposite of what I'm teaching, then why would you listen to me in the first place? I have no problem with people asking questions of, well, Bishop, what about this and what about that? You should ask questions. But your loyalty should always be to the Lord despite your fall. You're going to fall. And the thing about it is, don't get offended at people's falling, because you've fallen. You have failed so many times, and yet you're not a failure. I do love people. I love the Lord, and I love myself enough to realize that I'm going to live with or without people. Why do you put your life on hold just because somebody else hurt you? Sometimes you are being held back by situations that don't belong to you. You're being held back by somebody else's words. Somebody told you you shouldn't love or you shouldn't this. And listen, if you want to date, put yourself out there. Ask God to send you what you're looking for and what you desire. I do not criticize anybody for wanting to be loved. A person that don't want to be loved don't love themselves. And if you embarrass, it's usually the people who are hurt that has the most to say. It's usually, this is not 1950. Don't come at me with a 1950 mentality when this is 2026. What worked for you in the 40s and 50s ain't going to work for you today. Life has changed. Times have changed. People are changing all the time. And yet you're trying to live a rendition that no longer even produces anything for you. You're letting people tell you what you should do, how you should do it, and whether or not it looks right. You nosy. Y'all need to tell people, stop meddling. I'm going to make my own decisions. And if you don't like it, and when somebody threatens, well, if you're going to do this and I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not, baby, take your exit so I can make my entrance. Just because I'm a pastor, just because you go to church, doesn't make you dead. You're not dead. You have a right to love. You have a right to learn. You have a right to laugh. Some of y'all not even laughing anymore because you're afraid of what somebody's going to think if you make a decision that's totally out of your character. I do not care how people see me. I'm more concerned about how God is saving me. Just because you saved doesn't mean that the enemy will not try to attack you, and he will. Some of y'all are so scared to live that you've left yourself. Nobody left you. God didn't leave you. You left you. You don't want to wear makeup because somebody told you that's a Jezebel. That's a lie. A Jezebel spirit is a controlling spirit. Makeup ain't got nothing to do with controlling yourself. If you want to fix yourself up, baby, fix yourself up. If you want, because I cannot be seen with somebody who don't want to do their hair. I cannot be seen with somebody who don't bathe. I cannot be seen. I'm not going to be seen. God created you to be you. And a lot of us can't be ourselves because we're around people that's not themselves. The only people that see you for how you used to be are the people that hasn't changed themselves. You give people way too much credit for having a Christ that don't exist in their life. They lie and say, I got Jesus. No, you don't. You got jinxed. That's what you did. Because you're scared to make moves without the crowd. And you get upset at anybody else that moves without them. I don't need people's permission to be me. Now, you might. If I choose to leave, I'll go. Whoever I choose to be with, I'm going to be with them. I don't care what people say, because people don't have a heaven or a hell to put you in, but they have a hell to put you through. You either going to stand up and say, you know what? This is my life. If you don't like how I live, then leave me alone. That's the bottom line. People who can't control you won't console you. They want to be in your life as long as they can tell you what to do in it. Well, I gotta be careful. Well, can I tell you, I could care less about your reputation. God is not moved by your reputation. God is moved by your obedience. And half of you all that attend the church are still disobedient to God in some shape, form, or fashion. And you ought to thank God that he's showing you grace, because he's showing you more grace than you've shown other people. You're quick to put somebody down simply because they're not listening to what your ideas are. Your ideas ain't going to work for me, because why? You tolerate too much. I've never been a yes man for nobody, and I'm not about to start to be a yes man for here on Facebook, nor am I going to be a yes man in real life. I'm not doing that, y'all. And what you see is what you get. If people stop following you, don't you stop following God because they stop following you. Because not everybody that starts out with you is going to stay with you. Not everybody you meet is meant to be a permanent in your life. There's some folks that I've met that I wish I never had. I want you inspired. I want you to understand that it's okay to be yourself. Hey, Sister Deborah, how you doing, darling? I need you to understand that just because you disagree, the loyalty shouldn't stop. If you're my friend, you might do something that I totally disapprove of, but nobody else is going to know it but you and me. I don't have to put you on blast to bless you. I don't. I'm a very classy individual. I just, here my understanding and my teaching helps me to maintain my personality. Anybody that has to get loud or try to talk to you like trash in front of somebody else is doing it for attention. They want people to think that they have authority when in reality they have nothing. See, I have solidarity, and I'm not easily persuaded. I'm not going to jump on people because I see everybody else doing it. Matter of fact, I'm more subject to take the side of the underdog than to take the one that's doing all that's waving the Bibles. Why? Because the ones that's waving the Bibles don't believe God. There's a whole lot of people that want to hit you with the word but don't want to be hit with it. They carry a Bible and that's all they do is carry it. It's not in them. See, there's a difference in somebody that carries the Bible, and there's a difference in the person that has the word already in them. A person that has the word of God in them knows how to treat you respectfully. If I got to come at you with an attitude, see, this is where God is working on the bishop. You come at me with an attitude, I have to pray before I speak because I know what my mouth will say. I just keep it real. And a lot of people get offended because I do keep it real, but I've kept it right. Now, if you're going to hate me, I want you to hate me because I'm telling you the truth, because I use myself, because I don't need you to go ask anybody else. Gossip is is what people use to destroy other folks. If you have a problem with the bishop, then you need to talk to the bishop on a personal level and ask, well, bishop, because see, making assumptions makes you look stupid. A lot of people think because you speak proficiently, oh, that you must be mad. Why do I have to be mad to tell you the truth? That's your ignorance. That's your assumption. When you are used to making assumptions, that's all you know how to do. That means you don't have really good comprehension of the people that you are dealing with. So because you don't know them that well and you don't know the details of their life, you assume that they're mad. Is somebody bothering you? Ain't nobody bothering me. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm telling you how you need to learn how to love your life more and leave the people that don't. You can't travel. You can't go anywhere because what's holding you in the place that's hurting you? What's keeping you there? Well, my family's here and they need me and they... Well, let me ask you, don't you need you? Aren't you tired of people lying to you and they just enjoy the benefits that you bring, but they've never been a blessing to you? And I'm not talking about if you're taking care of people. Let's think, come on now. You should know, I've been on here long enough to know, we're not talking about when you're having to take care of special needs or when you're taking care of loved ones. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the fact that you stopped living because you stopped loving. Somebody told you it was wrong for you to love. Somebody told you it was wrong for you to put in weave. Somebody told you it was wrong for you to wear makeup. Somebody told you it was wrong for you to be a man. Somebody told you it was wrong for you to have the thoughts that you have as a man. It's amazing how people that never created you think that they know everything about you. You can't eat certain things. Where do you think preference come from? I listen to people, that the word here lately, especially here in Connecticut, I've heard, well, I have a preference. But what's funny to me is what they prefer to be with or who they prefer to be with is not really what prefers them. Most people will never tell you the hell they are going through to keep somebody that never wanted to be kept in the first place. You want to be seen with good looking. You want to be seen with the physiques. You want to be seen with the money. But everybody else sees you in the hell that you're hiding from the public. You pretend in public that you're so perfect and you have the greatest marriage and you got this and you got that. But then if they were to follow you home, they would see how he or she talks to you. They would see how he or she really feels about you when you're not in the public eye. And so social media is the only place that you can get on here and talk a lot of crap and use super social media courage, because you really don't have it. A lot of us has been broken more than we've been made. And what's funny, you're still offended at other people that tell you the truth about you. Let's just say you have some insecurities that you need to deal with. And I'm not that man. Let me tell y'all, I'm going to tell you now, and can I tell you, I have women coming after me a dime a dozen. And that's not to brag. That's to let you know. You don't have to be popular to be preferred. You don't have to have money to deal with messy. All right? I'm not that man that's going to reassure you every day. Either you're an adult or you're not. You have to get to that point. Why are you letting people make you do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. There's a difference in supporting somebody and having to raise them. I don't want nobody I got to raise. I've raised my children. My kid is grown. And so, what type of life do you really want for the rest of your life? Stop letting the church dictate to you who you're going to be. Stop letting religion dictate to you what righteousness really is, because religion don't know God. Religion knows flesh. Flesh and religion go hand in hand. It tries to conceal itself as righteousness, but it's wrong. For you to hate on somebody, mistreat somebody, lie on somebody, attack somebody, assault somebody in the spirit of religion ain't right. And a lot of people have mental issues because they're in misery with themselves. You can't be a help to anybody that you choose to be a hindrance to. Humanity is so easily impressed with suits, sayings, and stupidity that they don't understand. They stopped thinking for themselves and started allowing social media to think for them, starting allowing their best friends to think for them. And can I tell you, when you've got friends that are being hurt, they're the last people you need to get information from and need to get advice from. Because if you ask somebody that's been scorned, that's been hurt, that's been abused, that's been a divorce, that's ever been mistreated for advice about how you should handle a situation, they're going to speak to you from a place of hurt and not a place of help. There's some people you need to understand, you know what? I went through this and this is how I handled it. Now, here's the thing. When somebody asks me, Bishop, what do you think? I said, let me tell you how I handle it, because see, sometimes, and I'll be upfront, there's some questions that people don't need to ask me because I'm not I haven't experienced what they have. I've been done dirty by family. I'm not family oriented at all. I'm not. I don't deal with family because all that crap about, well, that's still your mama, that's still your brother, that's still your sister. No. And well, Bishop, you're wrong. Well, wait a minute. You remember when they told Jesus that his mother was outside? And Jesus said, who is my mother? Jesus said, those that do the will of my Father are my brothers and sisters. Not everybody is your brother and sister. We say that a lot, but the truth is, not everybody's a brother just because they are man. Not everybody's a sister because they female. I just want you to understand, a lot of things that we do it out of tradition. And so I say that because you're feeling like, because it's relative, because it's blood, there's a lot of people that has relatives, but you have no family. I have a lot of relatives, but I have no family. Can I tell you, my kids have cut me off. My child has cut me off. She don't speak to me. She don't talk to me anymore. And I'm okay with that. Listen, I tell you things because I want you to understand. I know I'm not the only one that's going through stuff. When your family decides to cut you off, don't beg to be back in. I'm okay with that. You have to get to a place where you're comfortable with being you. Good morning. You have to get in a place. Why are you not comfortable with you? Why do you feel like you have to supply everybody's need, or feel like you have to lower yourself in order to raise them? Who does that? And I feel the same way about the church. If the church doesn't care anything about you, why are you so concerned about the church instead of the Christ? The church ain't proved to you that they loved you. Jesus did. Now, again, brothers and sisters, I don't expect anybody to think like me because, again, I'm not in the business of blessing folks that don't bless God. Because people that's going to bless God, they know how to bless you. There are people that are using God, that will try to use God, just like they try to use you. They want the blessings, but they don't want the blesser. They want the gifts, but they don't want the giver. See, God shows grace and mercy even when we don't. And so I thank God. I know how to give. I don't mind giving. The giving part is easy for me. It's whom I choose to give it to. Anybody that knows me knows if they call me and say, Bishop, I need some money. I need some help. If I'm able to, I'll do so. My problem is asking. My grandmother taught me don't ask nobody for anything. Never ask. I said, but Grandma, and she said, I tell you why. When you ask certain people for things, it gives them a control that makes them think that you need them. The people of God check on you to see if you need anything. And then if you need it, when God says, do you need something? It means he's willing to provide it. God knows what you need before you ask him, son. God wants you to communicate with him. He wants to sup with you. That's why we pray. Not everybody in your circle is praying for you, but they want to pray on you. That's why we get so busy. We don't even check on each other. We don't call people. And I'm getting bad about it because I've allowed my job to consume me more so here lately. And that's why I try to do these all the time. I do these lives because I'm trying to help people live their life. There's a lot of folks who are afraid to make decisions, to relocate, to move, to get out of the situations that they're in because they feel like, well, I don't have any money. I can't do this. The Bible says I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. It takes faith to believe God. And the devil will use the Bible to make you think that you are the crook when actually he's the one that came to kill, steal, and destroy from you. You keep supporting people that don't care anything about you. Let me ask you something. Why do you keep allowing people who bring no value to your life to stay there? What makes you feel so comfortable of being around people who enjoy watching you struggle? And they just keep saying, well, you know, it's going to be all right. I don't want to hear that. We put a whole lot of demands on people that God doesn't. And even being a man, do you not understand that a lot of men have been broken by what other people believed about them? Women have been broken by what everybody else said about them. And so when you break a person and they start reacting according to what broke them, then you're saying, well, I knew what nothing to them. I could have told you they were this, that, and the other. A lot of people are hateful because you made them that way. Sometimes the church makes you hateful. The church changes your way because you can't tell the difference between what's holy and what's hellish because the same people that say they love God hate you. Going to church should never be a challenge, nor should it be viewed as a chore. But here in these latter years, the church has changed. God didn't. The church did. The church has become more about finances than faith. The church don't care whether you live or die or not. As long as they got what they got, that's all that matters. Man, I don't care about you. I don't really like you. As long as I'm in my fraternity of preachers, or I'm in my coven of crusaders, if you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. I can't run with the big dogs. I don't want to run with the big dogs because I know what the big dogs are running. I know the games they're running. A church that don't love you, don't care for you, can't pray for you, nor will they provide anything for you. You're not providing me a place to worship. I can worship right here. Where were you when I was at my worst? When I looked around and everybody said that they were friends. I love you, Bishop. I'm with you, Bishop. Where were you when I fell down? Where were you when I lost everything? Where were you when I felt no love, when I felt no peace, when I felt no comfort? Where were you then, friend? The people that stop speaking to you, they've stopped talking to you. Can I tell you, people will fall along the way. So there are people that have stopped talking to me that I have known for years. I'm not going back to get them. You're mad because I deleted, and I'm getting ready to delete some more people. You're mad because people stop waiting for you to make them feel important. I'm not making you feel special about something that you haven't done. Everybody wants to be made to feel special in your life, but nobody's making you feel special in your life. Do you catch that? They want you to make them happy, but who's making you happy? When did you give up on you? See, these are the questions that a lot of people don't ask, even in relationships. Who's making you happy? Are you happy? Yes, I'm happy. No, you're not. No, you're not. You lie to yourself every day. You see a reflection of what happiness once looked like, but you're not. And so you keep telling yourself that I would rather be by myself because, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes your words are the reason why you are. Your words speak volumes to your life. You're either going to increase or you're going to decrease. Sometimes you have to be by yourself to increase. And then sometimes you go around people and you start to decrease. Stop beating yourself up because of belligerent people. It's time for you to make some decisions. Stop giving so much to people that's not giving you anything. They're not helping you. If you continue to supply the needs of people who only make noise, you'll never have nothing. You won't have anything. They're just making noise. They like the connection because they don't have anybody else to connect to. You're their only source. Sometimes you are the only friend that they have, and they know that. And so they know you're never going to say no because you're afraid to. You don't want to. I know I'm going to play on their feelings. That's what Satan does. I'm going to play on their feelings because I know they're never going to say no. They're such good people. They're godly people. They're following the Lord. And so I'm going to always ask them because they're never going to say no to me. Can I tell you, I'll say no. I have no problem telling you no. Because as long as I enable you, I will never empower you. So as long as you're enabled, you will never be empowered. What that means is you will always be able to depend on me because I'm not giving you a chance to depend on the Lord or yourself. So you think you're helping people by giving them. No, they need to learn how to suffer. That's the thing. You keep on preventing people from suffering what they're supposed to go through. Sometimes God says, I need you to step back. You're too close to the situation. You're interfering with what I'm trying to do. I'm allowing them to suffer because they're stagnant. They're insufficient and they're unstable, and you keep on promoting the unstableness in their life. You keep on the inconsistencies in their life. You're helping them. You're not allowing God to build them. You keep abusing them because you're not listening to God. You're not God. God didn't tell you to give this one, and this one. He says, listen, I need you to let them fall. I gave my daughter everything that I didn't have when I was younger. And now that she's grown, I paid for her car. I paid the insurance on her car. I done everything that a daddy was supposed to do. And it still wasn't enough. When you try to tell your children, and I told her she has a responsibility that's not hers. I'm sorry if I don't take on other people's responsibilities. If you lay down and have a child that you can't handle, that's on you. Don't expect me to take care of that child. That's not my child. Especially when you're having babies one after the other and you just want to get rid of them because you don't want to deal with them. Oh, no. See, that's not what we do. That's not what we're going to do. And so because I made some statements, when you tell people the truth and they get mad at you, the truth hurts people. A lot of you have went through things or are going through things because you're still trying to hold on to the memory that messed you up in the first place. A lot of the memories still have life in them. A lot of your memories still have legs and have a social security number. And the thing about it is, you don't want to admit that. So you would rather distance yourself from somebody that's going to tell you the truth about yourself than to actually stay and hear it. Why? Because you love being in denial of your own living. You're upset at what? What are you mad about? Because somebody actually can speak truth to you? The church will lie to you. I don't need your money. So why am I going to lie to you? Listen, if I needed your money, I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't. Because I already know the frame of mind that you have. A lot of people have already been conditioned to assume what all preachers lie. All preachers want is money. This preacher don't. I don't want you, much less your money. Bishop, I hate when people approach me with an already conditioned mindset. You don't even know me, but yet you assume because I'm a man, it was a man that hurt you, so you automatically assume that I'm going to do the same thing that man did, or same thing with a woman. You've been hurt by a woman, so when you see another woman, that woman is a replica of the very one that hurt you. She don't even have to look like it. She's just the fact that she's a woman, and you automatically assume that, well, I'm going to treat you badly. That's your stupidity. Stop praying for God to send you somebody that you ain't ready for. Stop praying that God will actually bless your life when you are a blister to yourself. So you settle because you refuse to hear from God. You settle for what you're comfortable with. You're used to thugs. You're used to drinkers. You're used to cussers. You're used to players. You're used to pimps. That's what you're used to. You're comfortable with the Sadducee life. You're not comfortable with being what Christ wanted you to be. And so therefore, you cannot be around folks that are about truth, because truth brings forth change. You're not ready to change. You want to stay where you're comfortable. That's why you stay in crooked churches, listen to crooked preachers, listen to crooked friends who do crooked things. But why? Because you still got that spirit of crook. And you get mad at anybody that doesn't go along with your crooksism. Yeah, I know that's not a word. When you stop being a crook, you can follow Christ. Now, the devil's going to tell you he's being judgmental. I have to be judgmental. Some things you can just see. It ain't being judgmental when you can see a fool. You can see it. If somebody's robbing something, am I judging them because if I see somebody rob something and I see them do it, you know they're going to get in trouble. You being judgmental? No, it's not. Stop thinking that people are being judgmental because they're telling you the truth. You do got a smart mouth. You do have an attitude. You have not healed yet. And your only response, the only thing you know to do is fight or flight. That's all you know to do because that's what's in your human DNA. You do not know how to sit down, listen, and talk it out because you're not used to talking. Why? Because the conversations that you've always had has been with crooks. You don't know how to be decent because you're too busy being, you want to talk about judgmental. You think that everybody that's been to jail is a criminal? Well, Paul and Silas was in jail. Does that make them criminals? To some of you all, they would be. Well, they were in jail, wasn't they? So what? A lot of you all are in the prisons of your own mind. Does that make you a criminal? Some people should have went to jail that never have been. It was just by the grace of God. You never got caught. You smoked your smoke, you drank your drink, you've lied your lie, you cheated your cheats, you've done everything that you've been big enough to do. But then when somebody else talks about it, it offends you. Don't think because you're in the church that gives you the right to talk down to somebody else because you're just like the people that you're talking about. Everything in the church hasn't changed. They just changed their clothes. Their mindset is still judgmental. They're still hateful. They think because they have a little money, they have a little house, they have a little power and prestige, that gives them the right to now I can tell you I can't hang out with you anymore. I can't be around you because you might ruin my reputation. Maybe your reputation was damaged a long time ago. The secrets, that's the reason why a lot of people who are not used to happiness, when they find certain people, they try to hide their past from them to keep them from realizing or discovering you're not as perfect as you pretend to be. That's why you have two options with me. Either you like me or you don't. Either you love me or you don't. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I don't have to argue. I don't have to bicker. And I sure as heck don't have to prove myself to anybody because you haven't even proven yourself to God. You ought to be thankful that God is not punishing you for the lies that you've told other folks. Especially when you stand up on Sunday morning talking about you love everybody. You're a liar. You know you don't love everybody. You don't even like some people. I'll be the first one to tell you there's some folks I don't like. And it's hard. They hard for me to love. That's why I keep my distance. Because if I don't like you, I would rather let you know I don't like you. And I'm keeping my distance because I don't care for you. Because I know if I'm in your presence, I might say something to you. And so I just avoid you because I don't like the way you operate. You operate crooked. You smell funny to me. Your stench stifles my life. So I have to keep your distance. And so until you're able and ready to keep it real with somebody, you'll never be right for them and you'll never be right with them. So all I'm telling you is don't be afraid to be you just because they're afraid to be them. You can function by yourself. You can enjoy life by yourself. And a person that can't talk to you, they'll always talk at you or they'll talk about you, but they can never talk with you. A lot of people don't have common sense. They think that everything has to be loud or broadcast or everything has to be nasty. It doesn't. We can talk all day about whatever you want to talk about. I'm not that preacher that says I'm not going to have those conversations. Yeah, we need to have some conversations because I'm not any better than you. I'm struggling to get to heaven like you are. And yes, getting to heaven is a struggle. Why? Because as long as you're human, there's always going to be a devil trying to make a name for themselves. And they're going to try to convince you that you're the one wrong when actually you're not. You're not wrong for wanting to have a conversation, to learn, to listen, to build, to get better. You're not wrong. Avoidance is only done when it's going to bring forth vulnerability. This is why I'm really one of the only pastors that you will see that will talk about themselves to you, because I'm not vulnerable. I'm valuable. Hey, Sister Faye, how you doing? I don't have to hide myself from you. God already knows about me. You don't. I don't want to follow anybody that's embarrassed to believe in themselves or believe anything about them. God says you are what you are. But who you are is not the label that they gave you. Stop living the labels and start living the life. The devil can talk about a sanctified life all day. But what good is trying to pretend that you have a sanctified life when you have a sinful thought process? Jesus didn't stay away from people just because they had reputations. He went right where the reputation was. That's the difference between the true believer of God and those that are just going to church. See, being saved shouldn't make you sedity. Just because I'm saved doesn't mean I can't have a conversation about sin. I know what sin is. We're professional sinners. We were created in sin. We were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So to deny my past is to deny the presence of God. Why? Because I was still in God's presence. I suffered the punishments. Why? The Bible says that God chastises those that he loves. I understand what it feels like to be punished by the Lord, but who gave you the right to punish somebody? Who gave you the right? And we wonder why people don't want to change. People don't want to change because you think you're in charge. God never told you to go correct somebody's past. You can't even correct your own. Hey, Sister Boyd, how you doing? You cannot correct somebody when you can't even stand to be corrected. I love how people will try to play mama, but you ain't being a mama to your own kids. You can't even raise your own children. You're trying to raise adults, but you can't even be a parent to your own child. First, before you try to clean up anybody's house, make sure yours is clean. Instead of making excuses for your house being nasty, go clean it up. Why would you invite somebody to your house when your house is filthy? Dishes in the sink, clothes on the floor, clothes on the couch, roaches running up the wall, bed bugs everywhere. Why would you invite someone? Come on in. No. See, that's the one thing that I can respect about the centurion when he says, "You're not worthy. I'm not worthy for you to come to my house, Lord, but just speak the word." See, a lot of times, brothers and sisters, what offends you is not the word, it's the person saying it, because they never thought you had enough sense to have a relationship with God. And so because they don't know your relationship with God, they consider your human to be no good because they really don't know who you are. They still have formed their own opinion about you. And can I say this? Some people will flirt. And I noticed this yesterday. People will flirt with you. And then if you say something back, well, I thought you were saved. I never quite understood that. That is a mental thing. Your mindset, you need to get your mind checked. If you say something to somebody and they say it back to you, and yet you want to be the one, and this happens in the church a lot. Don't say things that you can't back up. You want to say something, then judge somebody else for the same thing that you said, or that you've done, or that you're doing. Don't play with people's lives. Don't play with people's feelings. Be who you are. If they're not your preference, then stop sending the signal. Stop acting like that. I'm saying these things simply because, brothers and sisters, there's a whole lot of people that call me or that messages me, and you're offended. And when I say you, I'm not saying you all personally, but when you are offended at a response, it is usually because you don't like the reaction. If somebody has left you, left your page, left your life, and stopped following you, thank God for it. I will never be critical of a person that says, Bishop, I just want to be loved. And listen, I'm not telling everybody go out and find a wife. I'm so sick of hearing people like, well, marriage, marriage, marriage. Everybody's not meant to be married. Ain't nobody telling you to date. They telling you to marry. Well, first of all, I ain't gonna marry nobody that I ain't dated. Just because I prayed for God to send me somebody doesn't mean that that's who I want to marry. God, I want somebody in my life. Let's see where it goes. Let's see what God. This is the thing. The enemy wants you to rush into wrong. Did nobody say you had to sleep with nobody? But everybody wants to be a wife. Everybody wants to be a husband. Everybody's trying to get. You ain't forcing me into nothing I don't want to do. Because first of all, you're going to have doubt, especially if you have money or if you have something and you marry or you date somebody that don't. Sometimes, bro, let me tell you, people that are not used to having anything, when the devil baits them and gets them, because the devil knows how to bless too. The devil will give people just enough money to make them think they're better than where the person they come from. You can have friends. You all can grow up both in the projects or both have went through things, whatever. And the thing about it is, if one gets money and they're not used to it, they'll leave you hanging. For the people that's popular, that has money like them, now they forgot that y'all both grew up poor. They start to criticize you, but at one time they were your friends. So this is the reason why I say be very careful about who you get your gifts from, because sometimes the gift causes you to forget God. There might be people laughing at you now, but let you get some wealth, let you get some health, let you get something that they don't have, then all of a sudden you become important. Oh, I know you. Who are you? Remember, I was never your preference. See, I remember what you preferred caused you pain. I was the one who listened to you when nobody else cared about you. I was the one who was praying for you, who set up with you, who stayed with you when everybody else left you. But when somebody starts giving you the attention, now all of a sudden you want to leave. I was the one who kept you up, who held you when everybody else mishandled you. And then all of a sudden, when you get your little money or you get your little prestige, you get your little power, you get your little popularity or your moments of fame, now you have forgotten. Hey Angie, how you doing, darling? You have forgotten. See, there are some people, brothers and sisters, that don't want to help you, but they want to be around you. If you don't bring any value to my life, you're not about to bring any more trouble to my life. I've had enough trouble in my life. And I say that because it's not about the money. It's about the misery. Good morning, Sister Madison. How you doing? It's not about See, this is the thing, you all. A lot of people have made you sad because of their own insecurity. You shouldn't have to lead a hopeless life because you're helping somebody. Who's helping you? Who's checking on you? Who's making sure you're good? A lot of people say, I got you, but you don't. You don't even got yourself. So how can you have me? Stop telling people. If we were honest, we would say, if we were honest, this is what we really want to say, but we don't. When you hear people say, well, I got you, whatever you need, I got you. What you should really say is, and be truthful, I got you. I don't have the finances, or I don't have very much finances, but I got you. Before you tell somebody you got them, make sure you're able to get them. A lot of people say things before they think because they don't understand the true essence of friendship or relationship, for that matter. I've got some true friends. I know who my friends are. My friends call me and check on me and ask me, do I need anything? And if I needed anything, I could go to them because they tell me personally, Bishop, don't want for something and then not tell me, because that's what we do. I help people. Now, if our friendship is based solely upon trust, okay, that means I should be able to come to you for anything if I trust you. I don't trust people because I don't know how you are for real. You can tell me I'm this way, I'm that. Words don't, I listen. I don't listen to words. I look at people. I watch what they do. Now, the people that's been with me, that's been around me, that's been in my ministry, they know if they call me and say, Bishop, I need $30, $40, I need $50, I need $100. Okay. If I've got it and I trust you and I know you, I will help anybody. But if every time you ask me, I say no, 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 and I've got it, I just don't want to give it, then that's not a friend. That sounds like the church. I was raised to help people. My grandmother helped so much, fed people, gave people. My grandmother did that, so I'm used to helping. But I also know what it feels like to have an advantage taken of me. That's why I say don't tell people you got them when you really don't have it to have them. All of us sometimes need help. And it's sad that we can't go to the people of God to get help because they're not God's people. There's a difference between being the person of God and being, I'm one of God's children. No, you're not. No, you're not. Your attitude toward anything, here's the thing. If you only help the people that can help themselves, and you're not helping anybody. Hey, Carla, how you doing? You're not helping anybody. What really helps people is knowing they can't pay you back. And you trust God and you give it anyway. And I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about your time. I'm talking about your attention. Because what the enemy does, the enemy sometimes cripples us and stops us from being Christ-like because, again, you're thinking everybody's a crook. That's why I had to limit myself on dealing with certain folks. There's a lot of people that I don't deal with anymore. I don't deal with as much because I get tired of hearing what they don't have. I get tired of hearing what they can't do. And my thing is, how come your church is not helping you? You're attending it. Can I tell you, I wouldn't go to a job that didn't pay me. I can't say I wouldn't go to a job that don't pay me right, because right now, really, there's not a job that's paying right. But why would I continue to go to work and do jobs and not get paid anything? It's like being in a relationship that's not producing anything. Why do I want to be in a relationship when I'm the only one that's giving? I'm the only one. I left a relationship for that. Why? I was married for 30 years. If you're not contributing, if you're not going to help me as a man, then why would you think that I would help you as a woman? Don't come at me with that. My money is my money and your money is my money. Like, almost had to catch himself. You got to be out your mind, sweetie. My suits cost $300 and $400. And it's not bragging. Can I tell you, I grew up with nothing. I worked summer youth. I know what food stamps are. I know, and I still love pinto beans and cornbread. That's who I am. That didn't change. But when God promoted me, the church didn't do it. The church wouldn't even give me a chance. The pastors wouldn't even give me a chance. I've been preaching since I was 16, and I've never pastored a church except one time, and that's one that I started in Pennsylvania, and people didn't want to come because they didn't believe in the Holy Ghost. When God brings you out of poverty into your own palace, why do you feel like you have to apologize for what people chose not to do for you in the first place? There were folks that were around you that had plenty, ample opportunities to bless you, but ignored you. Now, why would I want to share my wealth with somebody that caused me worry? You hated me as a child, you hated me as a teenager, you hated me as an adult, and you don't like me now. So my question is, why would I want to invest in somebody that never thought that I would be a good investment? God did. I don't apologize for my hats. I don't apologize for my clothes. Well, Bishop, you don't need no. One of my aunties told me, she says, you don't need no help because you got a nice house. Honey, you don't know how homeless I've been. You don't know the stuff see, when people don't know, that's why I tell everybody, stop making assumptions, because you don't know. You're seeing what God has done for me. You didn't see where Satan had me. And then there were some people who watched you struggle just to see if you was going to make it or not. They was on the sideline. Wasn't nobody praying for you. They was watching you. They were filming you. They were talking about, well, I couldn't done that. I know you couldn't. You wouldn't have made it. So when you see somebody talking about, I thank God for where he brought me from. I thank God. You get mad at folks because they're not tolerating what put them in the situation they were in the first place. You don't know where they come from. So a lot of people get mad at you because they think you're mad. I'm not mad. I'm mad at the enemy. I'm mad at the fact that God's people didn't do what they said they were supposed to do. You said God called you. Then where were you? Why weren't you doing God's will? Because the Bible tells us that we are our brother's keeper. The Bible tells us that we're supposed to love one another, and you don't even like me. So why would I even expect you to help me? Because we got this stupid idea that well, you're not supposed to help a man. Why not? You want a man to help you? Why not? It's funny how the ideas that we have between the battle of the sexes. Don't tell me what my job as a man is when you don't even know your role is as a woman. See, I don't know what your mom and daddy did, but my grandmama and my grandfather, they shared everything. If we one flesh, we all live in the house. My grandfather did dishes. My grandmama took out trash. I'm here, boy. That ain't my job. That's your job. No, we don't have jobs. We have relationships. If you're not ready to be in a relationship, don't tell me, well, I'm too feminine. I might break a neck. You better, I tell you what. We love to talk about how independent we are. And the only reason a lot of females are upset because they've had to be masculine, because the men weren't. The men were more feminine than they were masculine. Baby, I don't break down and cry. I break down and pray. And so the thing about it is, I'm not going to apologize. Yes, Bishop looks nice. Why? Because Bishop didn't always look nice. Have you ever been laughed at? Have you ever been talked about? I have. When my family made me wear corduroy in the middle of August, and they thought it was funny because they thought I was dependent on them. I wasn't old enough to work then. And so, well, you just going to wear what I give you. And you did it on purpose. And so what my mother tried to make me believe was that being in the projects was all that there was to life. Well, you should be proud that you have a house. No. This is not what I'm settling for. And so I was the oldest child. And again, my mother was light skinned. My mother did not like brown skin or dark people. And so I was the darkest child my mother had. Let's keep it real. I know what suffering behind the complexion is. You may not. And a lot of people that loved my mother had no idea how she truly was behind closed doors. See, this is the thing. Y'all cover up for y'all's family. I don't. When my father died, let me tell you something. When my father died, nobody even told me he was sick. I don't know where my father's buried. And can I tell you, he was in a morgue for 30 days. This is this year. The 1st of January, he died the 1st of January. I didn't find out about it till almost the 25th. Nobody called me, and I'm the only son he has living. No, and God knows I don't want anything from him. Didn't want nothing from him then. But how is it that we can blame folks for their reactions, for their reactions to what we done to them? People get mad at you because you got tired of putting up with lies, tired of putting up with disrespect. And then they have the audacity to put conditions on your person. Well, I'll help you if you, or as long as. No, see, for me, if your love comes with conditions, keep it. Because I'm going to be a man. I was a man before I was a preacher. The problem is, I'm not your last resort. I'm not your child. I'm not your get back. I'm not your rebound. I'm not none of those things. I'm who I am. And until you love yourself enough to leave some folk behind, you're always going to be, you're never going to have anything, because most people don't think you deserve it. And in the church, the one thing that I've learned is that Satan always gives his own opportunities but neglects you. If you're not a kiss up, if you're not one that can be used, if you're not one that goes along to get along, if you're not a yes man or a yes person, then you're going to get a lot of no's. And you know what? I thank God for the no's, because I know God knows. There are people that are trying to punish you for stuff that God forgave them for. There are people that still tries to make you remember the things of your past, because when you were in your weakest moments, that's when you was most vulnerable. That's when you was giving the most to people that didn't even love you, like you, or listen to you. They just heard you. And when you stop being a benefit to them, they left you to find something better. I've seen some of the cutest people. They thought they were so cute because I'm so pretty, I'm so this, and I'm so that. Marry the stupidest people. And when they married them, they got the hell beat out of them. They got them mistreated so bad. And because, well, they're I married somebody that's a coach. I married somebody that's a teacher. I married somebody that's this and that's that. And guess what? They didn't marry them for love. They married them because they had substance. They married people because they had stuff, but no stability. They had likes, they had looks, but they had no love. And so they looked at you and said, you're not enough. You're not my preference because you can't get my nails done. You can't get your hair did. You can't get my this and you can't get my. No, I can't. I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that. Because my grandma didn't raise no fool. She said, don't let no woman run. Don't run a game on me. Here's the thing. If we're going to be together, y'all help each other. But I don't know who told you that a man is supposed to provide everything for you and you provide nothing for him. No, you're not even a safe haven for peace. You're looking for a bank account. Not going to happen. Not with the bishop. You're looking for somebody who's going to keep you up while you put them down. Oh, no. That'll never work. That'll never work. My grandmother always told me, she said, son, don't ask any more from anybody than you're willing to give. If you can't be my peace, then I'm definitely not going to let you be my problem. See, you listen to too many outsiders and they get inside your head. Once people are inside your head, they affect what it is in your heart. If you with somebody, you need to stop listening to outsiders. Why are you giving so much information to people that don't even know you in the first place? Why are you out trying to talk about your relationship to people that don't even care about you? They didn't want you with him or with her to begin with. And so now you're mad because somebody's not posting you on their page. You mad because somebody ain't posting you in public. Listen, I don't have to post. No, I don't want people in my business. I'm not embarrassed about you, but I don't need. You'd be surprised at how many people are praying against you anyway, privately. So why would I want to give the world an opportunity to destroy us publicly? I've learned that most people don't want protection. They just want a picture. So I don't apologize. And I don't want you to apologize because it's not that you're stingy. I'm not stingy. I'm just not paying for it. When I come to Kentucky, there were people that, you didn't come to see me. You didn't make an effort. If I drove to Kentucky, which is 14 hours, you mean to tell me you can't make an effort to come see me? I'm going to have to drive to come see you? You ain't that important to me. No, not at all. Unless you sick and you can't get well, I understand. But if somebody come to Connecticut to see me, where are you? I'll drive to you. My loyalty to a person or to people hasn't changed. I'm just sensitive to their stupidity. Because you thought that I was nothing. You thought you was going to treat me as such. But when you realize that I had standards, my standards offended you. And so when you are offended by what I stand on, see, that's the thing. When people get mad at you, it's usually because they can't use you anymore. They can't abuse you anymore. People want you to think like they feel about you. As long as you feel like nobody cares, nobody loves you, then you will jump at every invitation because you need that attention. The difference between me and most other preachers and most other people, I don't need your attention. I see demons all the time. I know when somebody only wants to be around me because they've seen my pictures, or they think that I have something and they think they can get in my pocket. My pocket got locks on them. Because I'll ask one time, if I'm led to ask. And I've already seen how people do. Because again, you're so programmed to think preachers are about money. If I say anything, there he goes. Let me, you notice I'll stop asking. The Bible says to make your request known. Sometimes it pays to please God. Just for a thought. You have no problem giving to Walmart. You have no problem giving. And again, you're not paying for anything that's healthy. I mean, you know, there's so many people say they love you, but what is love, y'all? What is love? Honestly, I don't know, because I've never been loved by a woman, so I don't know what that is. I've been liked by plenty. I get compliments from a lot. But to honestly be loved, to be somebody's peace, to actually not have to share you with anybody, not to share. See, you can't say that you belong to a person when you're still connected to somebody else. Whether it be in last name, whether it be in whatever, you just cannot say. How can you be divorced but you still have that person's last name? That means you're still connected. I don't care what you say, you're still connected. So you can't expect somebody to give you themselves completely when you're not completely free. You're not completely free. Either you're too lazy to change your name and go back to your maiden name, or you still feel an attraction. You still have a connection that you can't get rid of. I don't choose to be connected to anything. But I am not going to apologize for being me, or for being myself, or for being on guard of my heart. Because here's the thing. I know who I am. The question is, do you know who you are? And if you're going to live your life, are you living your life according to you, or the decisions or the ideas that somebody else has put in your head? Does your kids control your life? Does your other family control your life? Can you think for yourself? Can you make a decision based, well, you know what? My brother told me I shouldn't talk to you, and so therefore I should. Okay. Maybe I'm never going to argue with what you think. I'm never going to argue with what you say. Whatever you say, if that's what you believe, that's what you do. Because what I'm not going to do is try to earn the respect of your family. I'm not doing that. I was raised to speak to people. I was raised to treat people right. But what I wasn't raised to do is to jump through hoops for somebody to like me, for somebody to respect me. Because sometimes your own family don't even respect you, but you expect me to respect somebody who don't respect you? That's stupid. That's never going to happen with me. Now, your family might talk trash to you and might talk to you any type of way. I'm not that person. So to avoid sending them to hell and me going to jail, I'll keep my distance. I don't answer questions. Your family ain't got no business asking me nothing personal about me. It ain't none of their business. And you ain't got no business telling them anything about me or about us. Again, I could care less what your family do. I could care less what your pastor says or what he thinks or what he does. Him or his wife. That makes no difference to me. My thing is, are you prepared to live your life for you? A lot of people miss out on good opportunities. Even they miss out on the very thing that they prayed to God for, because, well, my kids don't. See, that's the thing. My child don't tell me who I'm going to talk to. They do not. Because a lot of children think that if you're not my daddy, then you can't date my mama. And if the mama thinks that, or the father thinks that, vice versa, whatever, then you letting your kids rule your life. No wonder you ain't got nobody. You let your kids have too much say. They have more say than what they're supposed to have. What you do in your life ain't their business. And when your kids cut you off, if your kids cut you off because you're not with their mama or you're not with their daddy, why are you going to miss out on somebody that wants to love you when the one that was with you no longer like you? Now, Bishop don't beg for nobody. Bishop don't beg nobody to help. Bishop don't beg nobody to love him. I don't do none of that. Because I'm not hood. I don't need your help. I don't need welfare. I don't need none of that stuff. Because again, I'm used to not having anything. So what God has blessed me with, I'm going to utilize. I work for a living. I'm not dependent on the church. I'm not dependent on a woman. I'm not dependent on a man. I'm not dependent on anybody. I depend on the Lord. And so forgive me if you think that I'm arrogant. It's not that I'm arrogant. I just refuse to be insulted. If I can't help you get on your feet, why would I want to keep you there? I need you to stand tall. I don't need you to stay. The only time you should ever be on your knees is when you're praying. Other than that, you should never let anybody keep you where you started out. And then you should never let anybody take you back to the place that you prayed to get out of. If God has brought you out of the hurt and you are truly healed, why do you want to go back to the place that made you sick? Make that make sense to me. If they didn't love you the first time, what made you think they're going to love you the second? Because the moment you say something that they don't like, out the door they go again, because most people are used to running. Baby, I run to you. I don't run from you. So again, are you prepared for what you're asking for? Or have you settled for what you could get? I mean, if that's all you could get, if that's all, some of us have been so used up that everybody knows us. And so why would you want to be connected to somebody who's been gone through? I wouldn't. Because some people are never going to change. You can take the people out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of people. You know, if they don't see themselves any better than you see them, then you're wasting your time trying to change somebody into something that they never really wanted to be. I chose to be better. It took me a long time to do it. Why? Because I didn't sleep with nobody to get anything that I've got. Everything that I have, I've earned it. My cars, I bought. My clothes, I bought. My house, I paid for. The stuff that I lost because of sickness, not because of stupidity. I don't have to see a person's point of view, especially when their view is about other people. You get mad because I don't support who you support or what you support. I don't. Why? Because I see the backdrop of it. I realize that even in the church, when you are supporting people, why are you supporting ethics that divide people? Why are you supporting people that can't pray? Well, there's only certain people that I want in the church. There's only certain people that I want holding positions. Well, hold on. Some of the people that you got holding positions are not right. But you keep paying them. Now, the problem is you get upset because people like me will tell you, you have no problem paying for somebody that won't even pray for you. They don't even know your name. But when somebody else needs your help, you tell them no, and you know them. You know they're struggling. Your church is not. Now, can you get the same help from the church that you got from the person that you rejected? Because can I tell you, most of the help that I got came from people that was in the street. It didn't come from the church. The church ain't helped me do anything. I supported a lot of churches. I've been in a lot of churches, went and sang in a lot of churches, helped churches. I've never been a problem in the church until they tried to control my anointing. And that's when they reminded, well, I'm the pastor here. If you don't like what I say, then you can leave. Negro, I can walk out because I can preach too. I can preach and sing. I don't need your validation. Because people who are jealous of you are not ever going to show up for you. Stop waiting for folks to come that are jealous. They're jealous because here you are. You survived. They plotted to kill you, and God brought you around the trap so you would triumph. And now they're mad at you. They call you a troublemaker, or they call you a church hopper because you refused to let them treat you like trash. Come on now. I've been around a lot of pastors, and I've met a lot of pastors, and they never. I've had so many people lie to me. Well, Bishop, I'm going to invite you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You're a liar, Negro. Stop lying. Just don't talk to me. That's why I don't go to church. This is where I have my church at. This is what I do. Because I got sick of listening to people. First of all, you ain't been called to preach. Well, how do you know that? I can tell by the fact you haven't studied. If you are jumping from place to place to place, everybody shouldn't be a preacher in the church. If everybody's a preacher, then who you preaching to? Everybody. See, some people got their callings confused. But your pastor don't want to tell you that because she don't want to hurt your feelings. But let me tell you, I'll tell you, everybody ain't called to preach just because you can memorize a scripture. Just because you study to take tests. We studied in school. But your calling is not to be a pastor or a preacher. Sometimes you get your callings confused. And so, and here's the thing. I have no problem with women ministries. The thing about it is, don't let your ministry become a man bashing party. Because a lot of ministries, especially women's ministries, are geared more toward women, and they're teaching things that are not true. Don't use your ministry to mistreat a man. Because you use the ministry as a forum or as a platform to hurt people. And this is the lot of women's way of getting back at that man that hurt. I know he hurt you. I know this. I know that. And I'm looking at Facebook. I'm listening to all of these people preach, and I'm listening to these folks, and they're preaching from a place of hurt and not a place of prayer. First of all, if anybody ought to be mad, you need to be mad at yourself for making a choice that you didn't consult God about. He or she never would have hurt you had you talked to God first. Your flesh caused you to fail. It wasn't God. You did that. And so now again, here we are, still miserable, still mad, still lonely, still hurt. And so again, you go right back to the same people you're used to. When you are used to dealing with trashy people is all you're going to hold on to. You do not want anybody that's going to challenge your trashy way of thinking. So this is why I tell you, listen, in order for you to be you, you got to be comfortable in your own skin. Don't let anybody make you feel like you should apologize for where God has placed you, for where God has you, or for what God is doing within you. Because at the end of the day, the truth is, the only person that you can truly depend on is God. God's not going to talk about you. God's not going to make you beg. God's not going to make you feel bad about coming to him and asking. Because Bishop don't always have it. I help so many people. Sometimes I almost go broke helping folk because I love God and I love people. But because we've been conditioned, we love the freedom. We love the freedom, but we don't utilize the faith. Sometimes ask somebody else, what can I do for you? Because can I tell you, I'm not the preacher. I'm not that preacher that's going to, when you talk to me, I'm always needing something from you. But it is nice for people to call and check on you. Are you okay? And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say, I'm good. But if God put it on your heart to be a blessing, then be one. I'm not in need. I just need people to be themselves. You shouldn't ever have to walk on eggshells around people that claim to love you. So y'all, I'm going to finish getting this stuff together. I'm praying for you, and I love you, and I wish you well. I wish you nothing but the best. Even my enemies. I don't have enemies. I have inquiries. And the inquiries, they always want to ask questions. But don't ask me questions that you don't want answers to. I'm consistent. I'm stable. I'm not perfect, but I'm positive. And I pray. So if you're going to hate me, or you're going to dismiss yourself from me, make sure that I've done something to you, and make sure that it's God leading you instead of Satan trying to defeat you. Because it might not be me that's unstable. It might be your ideas that's keeping you unstable. You all be blessed and have a great day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. You all be blessed.